You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show of the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. And we do have a new caller today. New caller, what's going on?
Hey, Ryan. My name is Elaine. I've never called in before, but I'm a long-time listener. And I'm like, oh, man, I wish I'd call into the show, but I feel like I never have anything insightful to say to you that anyone else hasn't already said. But I just finished watching the Aaron Rodgers documentary, or I'm almost done with it. I'm on the third episode, and I'm not sure if that's something that you're going to talk more about or want to cover. But I know it's getting a lot of kind of blowback, and people are saying he's crazy and he's an anti-vaxxer and all that, political stuff I honestly don't quite care about. But it did make me think just how grateful I am for the Packers organization and how they're run. And I live in Minnesota, and I have to see what Vikings fans go through with their organization. And I just think we moved on from Aaron Rodgers at the perfect time. And I'm grateful for him and the times I got to watch him play. But it's clearly, it's all about him right now. And I love Jordan Love. I love that he's humble and the team seems to like him. He seems like a good person. And he's just ready to focus on playing for the Packers, and he doesn't have a big ego. And I like that. So whatever happens, play in the Saints, and hopefully it goes well. But I agree with what you're saying about the team being good, and we should be grateful. And, it's the Christmas season, and we've got a good Packers team. So a lot to be happy about. And if you want to be happier, go watch Enigma. There's a lot of interesting things, too, with the relationship with him and Brett Favre and Matt LaFleur and the behind the scenes of all of that. And I honestly thought the Packers so far have come out looking like a pretty great organization, but I'll be interested to hear what other people think. Go Pack, go.
Well, first of all, thanks for calling. We love new callers over here, Elaine. Thank you for enunciating your name. I still, to this day, who is it? Let me find it. Give me a second. He's in here. Where are you? Jeff from Kansas City. That is 1,000% not his name. And every single time, I think it's because, you know how there's those things where you hear something, and once you hear it, you can't unhear it anymore? Now when he says his name, I never know what the heck he's saying, just because I'm hearing, my brain is predisposed to hearing other things already. So pretty sure, maybe it's just because it's not like a one-syllable name. It's Elaine. It's pretty straightforward. Number 2, it is 12:04. Games just started, so if I start randomly shouting, I do apologize. It's just how it goes. Caleb Williams, please stop being an idiot. Now, on to what you were saying. I have not seen it. I probably should. However, I think it's on Netflix, and I'm pretty sure we just canceled that again. I got it for something. I don't even remember what. And my wife's like, don't forget to cancel it. Don't forget. I'm like, oh, yeah, I for sure won't forget to cancel it. And then I went to log in, and it was like, you don't have an account anymore. I'm like, oh, I guess she did it because she knew I wasn't going to. Oh, my Lord, Caleb, you're garbage. Dude, what good is all that scrambling around if when you throw it, you suck? You know what I mean? Like, where was that ball going? You did have a guy open. I thought that was your specialty. All right. So I haven't seen it. I'm a little surprised, honestly, that for the most part, it's been very positive. And I think I have to assume that it's portraying him in an extremely positive light, because essentially you're having 3 reactions. Kind of 2, kind of 3, because one of the reactions is a non-reaction. But you've got the Rodgers fans who are saying, see, he's a good dude. You do have some honest people who are saying, I'm not a fan, but I got to be honest. This is cool, and it's good to see him in this light, et cetera, et cetera. And then you got the people that hate him and will never say anything good about him, who are just being quiet. It's just how I know. I mean, if there was anything to nitpick in there, I'd be seeing it, and I'm seeing none of it. So it must very clearly portray him in a positive light. But no, I haven't seen it. I'm glad he's living his best life out there, and I'm glad that the Jets are not successful, because I don't want to have to deal with all the, see, we told you, blah, blah, bull crap. I'm happy that the Packers continue to be successful because I'm a Packers fan. I am grateful for Jordan Love and for this team, and I think you bring up a great point as we get into the Christmas season. You know, this whole theme over the last week has been gratefulness, right? People, we got to start being a little bit more grateful, because if you can't be happy through this, you're never going to be happy. So let's add another layer to that. It's Christmas. Can we be grateful? So agree across the board. Again, appreciate the call. Hope to hear from you again. I know it's funny because that's how it always was, like with me and my dad and me and my grandpa down the same line. Even me and my sister, it's like we don't ever talk. It's like, yeah, we should talk more. Yeah. And then it's like nobody calls, and you always have to do that thing where it's like, hey, you know, like, I know we don't talk or whatever, but it's not that I don't want to talk to you. It's just I don't have anything to say. That's like my dad and I do that dance every single time where he's like, you know, you can call me anytime. And I'm like, I know, I probably should. I don't want to call and just be like, so, sup? You know, I don't know. I have nothing to talk about. So I just end up not talking to anybody unless somebody talks to me that's a big talkative person, but that's just not really my family. So. But we get it. There's no hard feelings. Steven in Alaska.
Hey, Ryan. How's it going? Steve up in Alaska.
Well, so far bad.
Just
freaking Bears.
got done rewatching the televised version of the game after being at the game. You know, it is amazing how, I mean, it's the same thing. You know, it's the same game, played by the same players, but you watch it on TV compared to what you see it as a game, and it is just striking how different it sits in your memory.
Yeah.
But I apologize for none of the in-game stuff coming in. I'm not a tech guy. I thought I had my phone right enough that I could get people here, but maybe it was just too darn loud and it just overwhelmed my phone. So kind of wanted to get everybody to have a little bit of game hearing, but
well, we appreciate it.
I failed. It was a failure. But just want to say, you know, I'm still real proud of the team. I think we got a real good shot come the playoffs to make a deep run. I'm not saying we're a Super Bowl championship team, but I think we got the opportunity to make a good deep run. You know, being 2-3, you know, 4-4 playoff games. That we're in the Super Bowl. You know, but 2-3 playoff games. I was also watching, because you had talked about some of how people looked at Romeo Doubs and how the Romeo Doubs thing, you know, his attitude and you know how he kind of presents himself. I'm going to say this because I just got done watching before I went to the Packer game. My buddy put on Barry Sanders, A Football Life, and when you watch Barry Sanders and Romeo Doubs, personality-wise, acts very similar on the field.
That's true. I mean, Sanders was the OG of act like you've been there before. You know, he didn't celebrate. He didn't really do all that stuff. I think the holdout is what kind of changed things. Him refusing to play is what kind of changed everything. It's one thing to just be a humble guy that just kind of keeps to themselves or whatever. Polamalu was that way. Polamalu was another guy that was a fantastic football player. That, I mean, on the field, he was a monster, and then off the field, real quiet, real timid kind of a guy. I don't think that that's necessarily the problem. Again, I think it became a problem when he just decided, I'm not playing. That just, for a lot of us, changed things. And I think for some people, they're kind of going back to that's just his personality. Yeah, but you can't really play that game anymore. That's the problem. Like, the game has changed a little bit, and the dynamic has changed. And I think from Brian Gutekunst's standpoint, we'll see how it goes, but when it comes time to making some tough decisions, I think Romeo is going to be at a bit of a discount, and I don't think he's going to like that discount, and so we'll see how it goes. I mean, you know, we got to play it week by week. We'll see how it goes through the offseason. We'll learn some new information, some more information or whatever. Things are open to change, but again, that's a big deal when you choose not to play for your team for whatever reason.
I'm not saying Romeo Doubs is Barry Sanders in talent.
No, I get it.
Not by a long shot, because, you know, it's freaking Barry Sanders. But I think he's got that same kind of mentality where, you know, I love doing this, but it's what I do. And I shouldn't get patted on the back and cheers and roars and everybody getting all crazy because I did my job. And this is what I do. So I think we might have a good player there, long-term wise, keeping him around. I think he might be one of those guys that he goes and does his job. And he's talented enough that doing his job is really beneficial to us. So I'm going to let it go because I'm about out of time here. I don't want to make a bazillion calls. I used up my calls for the week. So, all right, y'all take it easy. Go Pack Go. Take care.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to make a bigger deal out of it than it is, but I also don't want to make a smaller deal out of it than it is. I mean, again, there was a slight dust up with Jair that got reconciled, although that I don't know that was necessarily him doing anything other than just not thinking. You could at least argue that. I think there's possibilities for reconciliation, but also Jair is a highly, highly paid superstar, and Romeo is one of our wide receivers. So different dynamics, different decisions to be made. We'll have to see. I don't think anybody has really played themselves in a position of being such a massively highly paid superstar that the Packers couldn't have multiple. I'm not trying to say, well, we only get to keep one, therefore Romeo's gone. I don't think anybody has earned that elite wide receiver contract. Christian clearly has not. Romeo has not, and even if you thought he did, that whole situation with whatever changed things. Wicks has certainly not, and Reed, it seemed like he would for a while, but now you kind of see he's not a guy that can just dominate a game. He can be taken away, which is not great, but he's certainly useful in certain situations. He's great with the group. So, as of right now, we don't have a superstar, which means we can have a bunch of them. You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure we'll start to get reports about, what people are looking for in terms of money. And, if some of these guys are looking for top tier money and they think that there's maybe a market for it, then we got to start talking about maybe not seeing them anymore.
Hey, Ryan, I didn't intend to call again, but I just wanted to make a comment on Packernet After Dark. We were talking about the Lions and our position and how we're dealing with teams, and you were talking about us playing the Lions and who we got to play and how good we are, but there is that blemish there, right? I look at that Lions game and I look at what we could deal with them in going into the future. You talked about it. Other people talked about it. It was well discussed. The Lions caught a hole in our planning. And they pulled that trigger and they threw that out there because they needed and wanted that win.
Mm-hmm.
Can they do that same thing again and have us fall for it again?
Right. No.
If they can and do, then we are just praising. Anything that I say, you're going to have to bleep because, let's be honest, they can do it to us again. What's wrong with us? So they pulled their wad, they shot their bullet, they've done their bit. If we have to play them again, and it's going to be mano-a-mano, well, that's what the second half of that game was. And if you look at points scored in the second half, we really tore them up. So, yeah, I don't have as much fear of the Lions as I thought I would have going into this situation if we were in a position we were in. I want to see what we do with Minnesota. And I don't know about Philly. Philly's a tough one. But outside of that, I think we got a good deep playoff run built into us. And, unless we come up with Buffalo, because I think we can beat the Chiefs. And who else is there? Baltimore. But Baltimore's defense is suspect, so that just turns into a shootout. So I think we can beat anybody. Not calling Super Bowl. Don't think we're Super Bowl. But, man, I'd be stoked to get into the NFC Championship game. Progression. Keep moving up forward, getting better and better every year until we take this thing. All right, man. I've wasted a bunch of time. Another 3 minutes is up. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Oh, the Bears are just the worst team ever. Holy cow. This is embarrassing. They put the Bear in embarrassing, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid of the Lions. I mean, they're still a pretty scary football team, but no, I don't anticipate them being able to pull the same tricks 2 times in a row. In fact, and I don't know this for sure, but it certainly didn't feel like it. I don't know that even worked in the second half of the game. Is Hurts okay? That dude is stumbling. They need to pull him. But I agree. I think the Packers have the ability to beat anybody. It's just a matter of will they, and that's what it is for everybody. And when you get to the playoffs, you've got some chops, man, You got teams like the Chiefs, which I hate that it's true, but it's true. Baltimore and all these teams, they've got the upside to be able to beat anybody they play. It's just a matter of who's going to be consistent enough to win every single game that they play, and that only comes down to one team. All right, let's take a break. We got another Steve in Alaska, Beer Cheese Benny, Raider McCready, on and on we go. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
All right, I had to call again, but I was listening to your podcast, and you're talking about Seattle fans and how fair weather they are. And I'm going to try to make this real quick, but me and a buddy of mine, Steve is a Steelers fan. I'm, of course, Packer fan. We were living in Seattle. This was 2000, or no, this was like 98, 99. And we wanted to see our teams play our game, so we went over to a Hooters. And the Hooters was trying to give away tickets for the Seattle game. The Kingdom was still there. They were trying to give away tickets, which me and my buddy couldn't take because we both had to go to work. We were just trying to see our game. It got to the point of that woman trying to give away those tickets that me and my buddy felt bad for her. And we felt bad. We felt bad for the team. Because where do you go where you're in the town? We're in the city. We're in Seattle. It's a Seattle game. If I was anywhere around Green Bay working somewhere, it's always trying to give away Green Bay tickets. My buddy who's a Pittsburgh fan. If you're anywhere in and around Pittsburgh and somebody's trying to give away Pittsburgh tickets, either one of those tickets are gone.
Yeah.
If I can't use them, a buddy's going to use them. And we both felt it was pretty sad. So yeah, they're very, very fair weather. Super fair weather. And I'll tell you this, my buddy that I went and watched this most recent game with, I told him when they won the Super Bowl, the very first thing I said to him is act like you've been here, bud. Because these fans are fools. But I'm going to let it go because otherwise I'm just going to randomly rant on. At this point in time, it's gotten pretty late. I just got home. Whatever. Either way, bud. Talk to you later. Go Pack.
I just glance over for a second and the Bears turn the ball over again. This is crazy. Anyways. Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't realize it was quite that bad, but I don't know. It's freaking, yeah, it's so annoying when fans like that want to actually talk. I mean, it's one thing if another fan base that's always loyal and is always there wants, they fill their stadium even when times are bad. If they want to talk, okay, fine. You finally got your moment, fine. But Seattle? No. I mean, Seattle's still like a playoff team and their fans are already giving up. They're already finding different stuff to do, different sports to cheer for, different hobbies in general. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of respect for that nonsense.
Hey, Ryan, Beer Cheese Benny, I really got to tell you something that's just bothering me, man. And it's all the people who, again, I've talked about this before, and I'm going to say it again. It's the people that keep making excuses for why we win. Now, everyone's saying, well, you guys had to play against Sam Howell. Okay, as if Geno Smith didn't exist for the entire rest of the game. Like, he didn't do anything. We made Geno Smith look like a piece of crap. Honestly, like, what did they do? So people ignore the fact that he played most of the game and didn't do anything. Like, yeah, it helps that Howell came in later on, but I'm so tired of the excuses. People will make excuses for why we win. They'll never credit us. I swear, dude. Like, all around the league. Now, granted, it's not everybody, but, like, what's the next excuse, man? Like, and now we'll go play the Saints, beat the crap out of them. They'll be like, well, they didn't have Derek Carr. Like that had anything to do with it. Yeah. Or whatever their excuse will be. Oh, Alvin Kamara, I don't know if Alvin Kamara's playing. I heard he's kind of banged up. They might sit him, but you know what you understand what I'm getting at. And then this is what will happen, dude. They're gonna keep doing this, dude. And I'm honestly sick of it. And you know what? Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Because I don't care. Honestly. We're going to go into the playoffs, and some excuse will be made for the other team as to why we won. So keep doing it, bro. Keep down the Green Bay Packers, bro. Keep doing it. I'm telling you, man. But anyways, hope you guys have an amazing Thursday. It's Thursday, bro. And I'm going to be late for work again. Once again, have to drop off my son at daycare. Normally I don't have to. It's my wife. But, you know, sometimes I got to do it, you know, because she's got to be at work a little earlier. Because she's in the military, so, and I'm not. So, you know, whenever she has to do, kind of overshadows what I have to do. Anyways, you guys are great. Ryan, looking forward to all the episodes this week. See you.
Yeah, and I think that is the point. I mean, people that want to make excuses and make it seem like the Packers didn't actually do anything special, they're not going to have a hard time. Because, again, most of the time you don't play very good teams, right? I mean, am I supposed to, credit Detroit for beating the Bears? It's just, that's just the way it goes. Even Minnesota, apparently, if Minnesota wins, even though I think they probably should be given some credit, I guess not. I guess we've learned that you don't give them credit. And the Lions don't get any credit. In fact, they get credit for almost none of their wins because, like everybody else, most of their opponents were not as good. So there you go. I guess that's it. I guess you just don't get credit for anything. But you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, all it is just keep winning. Whatever. And let them find a new excuse. And if they find one, good for them. Congratulations, you found a new excuse. But who cares? Just go win the next one and win the next one. Bottom line is, Packers have a great record and they're going to the playoffs. Okay? There's only so many excuses you can make for that level of success. Then you get into the playoffs. Nobody believes you. Fine. Go win that first game. The longer you can keep doing that, the more excuses you take away. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think the Packers at least need to get to the Super Bowl. Otherwise, there's going to be continued, you can't do it. All right? At least get there. And then, of course, if you win the Super Bowl, then you just crush everybody's dreams. And this would be a great year to do it because Vikings and Lions fans want to feel super good about everything. And way to crush one of the best seasons they've had. It's what we did to the Bears. Bears had one of the best seasons they'd ever had, and we come in, evict them from the playoffs, and go on to win the Super Bowl. I mean, it's just absolutely glorious. So I think that's the plan. I think we got to go win the Super Bowl.
Ryan, Ray McCready, what's up? So anyway, I've been hearing a lot of people talking about this Bears game at the end of the year. People be saying that if it doesn't matter, we should arrest people. No. We don't want to break our winning streak against the Bears. Anyway, go ahead. Go, Pack, go.
I do get that, but if you see Jordan go down, if you see Josh Jacobs go down, if you see one of our core players, if you see Rashawn Gary go down holding his knee, immediately the response is going to be, you are the dumbest people on planet Earth for allowing that to happen. So I do think they're probably going to be sitted, and probably for good reason.
Ryan, Ray McCready. I was just listening to the Packernet After Dark, and I forget who it was. It was talking about the uniforms, the whiteout uniforms. And I never really had an opinion on it until I really actually looked at them. The helmet thing with the yellow stripe, I find myself believing that there should be a yellow stripe, and here's my reason. If you look at the rest of the uniform, there's the green stripes and then a yellow stripe in between them, except for the helmet. I find that a little odd, but I still love the uniforms. And, those Seahawks uniforms, bad. Go back, go.
Yeah, and I still don't care. Drew, what you got going on, man?
Hey, back that is draft hobbyist. And I just thought, want to call in and say I think people are being a little too harsh on LaFleur for the challenge. I think people got confused because the ball went forward so far, but that actually was only because it hit Kenny Clark's hand. And Kenny Clark's hand was about lateral to, or his arm was about lateral to Sam Howell. So, when it went off Clark's hand, it was hard to see exactly if it was going forward or not. And even if it was going directly laterally, that would have not been a forward pass then. So, it was real close. We didn't win it. I don't think there was enough evidence to overturn it either way, to be honest. But I think it was worth a shot. 10 minutes to go about in the fourth quarter, if I remember right. So, but I'm really proud of this team. I call it the anaconda choke. Like our defense, they have a whole plan. Every guy's got their own little movement, and it seems like usually there's a stunt going on, and one guy is trying to free up the other guy, but then the guy who's freeing that one up then circles back around, and he's like moving laterally to cover up the hole up the middle so the quarterback can't step up. And a lot of other teams on their defensive lines, I see everyone's just like going forward, and if they don't get the pass rush, they kind of take themselves out of the play. And, so I think Hafley's defensive line design is much more advanced than what a lot of other teams are running. So, we don't necessarily have guys that just win mano-a-mano, but we have a scheme that can beat the offensive line scheme. And so I think we're more likely to beat, younger offensive linemen. Now, if we run into a team with a bunch of veteran offensive linemen, we might see our defensive line get shut down a little more, but it's really good at keeping the quarterback in the pocket, not letting them get out, and they're also running laterally, so the quarterback doesn't know exactly which hole to take. Is he going to take? Does he go left? Does he go right? Does he go straight? Because that lineman is moving. So, Edgerrin Cooper, he had the interception, but I rewatched the game, and there were about like 2 or 3 other times where he was baiting the quarterback, and like he's on wide receivers, JSN, and all that, and he's right there, so it wasn't just like one lucky play. He was a dude.
Continuing.
Hey, it's Draft Hobbyist again. Part 2, 3-minute monster got me. So, I wanted to say to people attacking Matt LaFleur for his play calling, if you really look, like a lot of these play calls, I mean, there could be 3 guys out on the routes, and all 3 guys are getting open. Like I think Matt LaFleur really had good play calling throughout the entire game, but Jake was fumbled at midfield, and then we had one where there was a drop by Watson. We had another drive killed because we had the Reed slip, and then go for it. That leads to 4th and 2, and then we get stopped. And you know, it was just like a lot of little things that kind of happened in the second half that weren't really happening too much in the first half, but had nothing to do with play calling. So, another thing on the Charbonnet run, it was really interesting. We didn't have anybody up the A gaps on that play, and the center and the guard both pulled for Seattle to the edge. So you think that we would have the guys on the outside to stop that run? Matt LaFleur looked pretty fired up about that. So someone, like our safeties were all like going backwards off the start. I don't know what, they were completely fooled on the play. So that was kind of interesting. But final thing is, I know one of the listeners is into Scorigami, and watching the Lions lose was really fun to the Bills, but that was also Scorigami, so kind of interesting.
Didn't know that.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you would think at this point it's extremely rare to even get a Scorigami. So I did miss that. That's kind of every time now it's sort of a historic thing. I should, I guess there's nothing really to do as far as the podcast is concerned. I mean, aside from announcing a Scorigami, which I'll just rely on you guys to call in and let me know when that happens. No, it is interesting stuff, though. I mean, there's just been so much football played. It's always a fun stat when something rare happens, although sometimes it's a terrible stat. Like, this is the most yards any quarterback has run for in the history of the universe against the Packers in the playoffs. Like those kinds of stats, I don't like as much. But yeah, appreciate the perspective on it. I have to assume Matt LaFleur bears some responsibility. I just think the blaming him for everything is kind of silly, especially when, there's way too much, like things stopped working, therefore Matt LaFleur was calling bad plays. Like that's not the proper burden of proof on that. That's not logically sound. One does not automatically equate to the other. You know what I'm saying? You got to do a little bit more work than that. But I do know the human need to blame somebody, and without any actual ability to answer that question right off the bat, I think the default for a lot of people is just Matt LaFleur was not doing a good enough job, and sometimes that's not the case. I mean, sometimes you see players just not, like, what's going on with you? And we've seen that all year. I think just sometimes it's not evident. We don't blame Matt LaFleur when we can see a bunch of guys dropping passes. We don't blame Matt LaFleur when Jordan Love throws a real easy pick six. At least we shouldn't. Saquon's going to have 50,000 yards this year. Come on. Can you guys freaking tackle? I hate so much that it's like, oh, Saquon's so much better than Josh Jacobs. It's like, yeah, first of all, the freaking guy runs through a giant hole and nobody tackles him. Like, congratulations. Anyways, people don't blame Matt LaFleur for that, but I think when we can't see anything, especially on run plays that don't work, it's just Matt LaFleur, that was a stupid play call. It was bad. Or somebody didn't block. Even the end arounds, those are probably called for a reason based on what the defense has been doing, and it's a way to kind of get them to, back off on things a little bit. They're not really biting on us running that anymore, so we got to actually run it to keep them honest. And probably would have worked if there was some blocking, and the blocking didn't work. I mean, that happens a lot, right? Guys fail at blocking. And the thing that sucks about run plays and plays like that is that it takes sometimes just one guy. Out of an entire group of 5 offensive linemen, tight end, wide receivers, you get one guy that doesn't do his job, which is almost a guarantee. The play isn't going to work, right? But again, I'm sure there's a lot of corrections to be made. Some of it is certainly with the coaching. Some of it is with the execution. Some of it is just, it's real simple stuff, things that you don't necessarily even need to tweak. It's just, bro, what are you doing? Like you said, a drop or a slip or something to that effect. That's not something you coach. It's just, careful. You're not supposed to do that. But as opposed to like the other play that you had mentioned where, talk about bad tackling the Bears. Good Lord. How do you lose a coach and forget how to tackle? I don't understand that. Anyways, whatever. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, he's gone. You guys suck. Jeez. What was a 90-yard touchdown? No, not quite. He threw it from about the 18. I mean, that line of scrimmage was from the 18. He probably threw it back from the 10. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Freaking Bears. let's take a break. We'll come back with some Beer Cheese Benny.
What's up, Ryan? Beer Cheese Benny here. I'm listening to the podcast After Dark. You're responding to my call
I
about...
always get nervous when people say that, by the way. Hey, I'm listening to the podcast. It's like, oh, what did I do now? I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
Romeo Doubs. Yes, I would agree that you had a great game, and it's not... Well, it just dawned on me, really, that... And I don't think it actually really matters who's on the field as a receiver. Because Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur have worked so well together in coming up with a game plan and getting the ball to the right guys that it doesn't really matter who is catching the ball and who's on the field. But another thing that I just realized, which is crazy, is like all of our pass catchers like that we drafted and that we have really, like they didn't come from these big schools like Ohio State or like anywhere like that. You got like Tucker Kraft in South Dakota State, Christian Watson, North Dakota, freaking Romeo Doubs. Where is he at? In Nevada or somewhere. Like they come from small schools, so it's like, man, props to Goot, man, for getting like not like falling for the hype on some of these big school guys.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, man. I'd love it if we drafted like some big school guys, but he's making the most out of opportunities he has and finding guys that not a lot of teams are looking at and saying, yeah, we want that guy, and like we're developing these guys, and it's pretty amazing, man. So if Jordan can just keep throwing the ball and the receivers catch the ball, good. If those two things are good, it don't really matter, man. But anyways, go Pack, go.
Yeah, Brian Gutekunst is very much not rigid. All the rules that you would think of in terms of things that they don't do, he's pretty much dispelled most of that. First round linebacker and whatnot. I did have a thought about that. On the other hand, though, I don't know that he has actually drafted a non-premium position in the first round, because first round is different to us than it is to a lot of GMs. We look at it as the first 32 picks. I think a lot of GMs, you bumbling idiot, a lot of GMs view it as guys with first round grades, and a lot of times that'll run at most to 20. So for Brian Gutekunst, I think a lot of these, he drafted a guard, he drafted a linebacker. I think in his mind those are second round picks, because that's what it was. If he drafts a running back at pick 11 at some point, then we can have a different conversation. But no, I mean, there's a lot of things of whether it's those guys being too small school or, that guy's too short, they wouldn't draft him, then we draft Jair, or they wouldn't draft a linebacker, and then they did. There's a whole bunch of rules that we make up, and the only ones that are true are the ones that Gutekunst hasn't yet proven to us to be not true, which is why I tend to not believe any of them unless Brian Gutekunst himself tells us, you know what I mean? There's limits somewhere, but just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean that that's a hard limit that was somehow put in place by the Green Bay Packers. That, again, is not very sound reasoning. It's not how I like to come to conclusions on stuff. Bears, can you get a frickin' first down? Oh, DeAndre Swift is like making a cut right into the defender. You can go to his left, you can go to his right. No, I'm gonna cut so that his helmet is in my stomach. I mean, it's a good one. Really well done. Very good. Caleb taking a deep shot, overthrows a guy by 10 yards. Well, thanks for showing off that strong arm, Caleb. Too bad your accuracy is dog crap. Sorry. Daniel from California, what's up?
Hey, Ryan. We already talked about it a little bit on Packernet After Dark. The episode came out Friday, but we got to bring it up again, man, because Brian Gutekunst, okay? Like, I made the realization about the 2022 draft, right? And you said it yourself, like, you're lucky to get 2 or 3 starters in a draft, right?
Sure.
But in all honesty, you're lucky to get for any team, you're lucky to get 3 or 4 like NFL players because your 5th, 6th, 7th round picks, most teams, those guys are out the league.
Yeah.
And look at, like, just pull it up. Look at 2022, 2023, and 2024. I see in all 3 drafts 8 guys that are starters, rotational guys, and like real contributors. Like, this doesn't happen. Like we're set for a couple years, and guess what? We got more drafts to come. Just imagine if Goody could put more and more into this. But you know, we all know who we have. But I'm gonna just run through this real quick. All right, Quay, Devontae, Christian, Sean Ryan, Romeo Doubs, Zach Tom, Kingsley Enikbare. That's rounds 1 through 5. All right, and then 7th round we got Rasheed Walker. That's 8 guys. 2022, 2 of our starting tackles, 2 top 15 tackles, and pass blocking. Like, I'll take that all day, especially Rasheed. Now you got 2022, Lucas Van Ness, Luke Musgrave, Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft, Colby Wooden, and then you got Dontavian Wicks, Carl Brooks, Carrington Valentine. That's another 8 right there. Oh, man, I'm getting pumped. Now you go to this year, I see 8 more guys. All right, some people might not. I do. I think Jordan Morgan's going to be good. Edrin Cooper is a star. Javon Bullard is going to be good. Marshawn Lloyd, I think he's still going to be good. He just needs to get on the field. Tyron Hopper is contributing on special teams. I think he's good. He just needs an opportunity. It took McDuffie a long time to get on the field, so I think he still has an opportunity. Evan Williams, a star. Jacob Monk, he needs his opportunity in a couple years. They're still developing him, but it seems like he is going to get a shot in a year or 2. Katan Oladapo has been on the field a couple plays. I think he's going to be a hit. And Kalen King, he's been on the field a couple plays. So, that's another 8, man. I think that we have an opportunity to hit 8 on this. I see 6 that
let's get to part 2 real quick. Here we go.
So, to finish my point, I see 8 guys in this draft class, too, that have some potential. They don't all happen because Sean Ryan is in his 3rd year, and he's barely getting on the field right now. So, we got to wait and see for some of these guys. But just to finish my overall point, this is it because we've had some trouble getting our blue chip talent, right? Well, guess what? Because these guys are all cheap. We have 24 guys on the roster that are dirt cheap. We have good roster construction. So what do? You plug in your expensive talent when they're young, and it makes sense. So now we got X, and we got Josh Jacobs mixed in now. Those are our blue chips, man. Like, this is elite roster construction. Brian Gutekunst is a top 3 GM. Like, I really like what Brad Holmes did in Detroit. You can't knock that guy, but he's not doing stuff like this. He's not doing this. This is elite stuff we're seeing. Packer fans need to stop being so negative and be appreciative. And when this guy walks to his car, people should lay down at this guy's feet because he's doing the Lord's work. This is Jesus walking on earth on water stuff, man. Like, this doesn't happen, and people need to realize, like, this team is good. This team, like you're saying, is as good or better as the Super Bowl team. Like, this is something special, and we're walking into another 5 years of success. And I'm all for it. I'm super pumped. Go Pack, go!
Well, I take pride in being a gootlicker, that's for sure. I don't know that I've ever taken it to the Jesus walking on water level, but no, I'm with you. I think he's done a great job. I think that we got to start to recognize tempering expectations again. What is it you actually expect? And I think if you have expectations that are in line with, again, what do you usually get? What does a team usually get out of an NFL draft? I think you're happy with what Gutekunst has been doing. I do think this upcoming year we'll see as far as trades, if there are any trades that take place. But yep, that was a touchdown. You missed it, Caleb. We'll see if any trades take place. At this point in time, it looks like we're going to get our picks 1 through 7 and maybe 2 additional 7th-round picks. We do have 1 additional 7th-round pick right now from Pittsburgh for Preston, and I think we're in line to get a 7th-round compensatory pick for Yosh Nijman. But it looks like that's about it for now, which is a low number for the Packers. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. I'm sure Gutekunst is not super thrilled with that situation.
Hey, Ryan. It's Peter Thomas from Milwaukee.
What's up?
Hey, just listened to After Dark and was hearing about the red flag controversy of Matt LaFleur always getting challenges wrong. And it got me thinking, I completely agree with you that sometimes it's completely inconsequential in a game in which we're already winning. I wouldn't say it's completely inconsequential, but you get it. In a game that we're already winning, why not throw the challenge flag and see if we get one? But, with the way challenges are these days, they take so freaking long. I kind of think maybe it's also a matter of, do we want to take a timeout right now? And I'm not exactly sure what the play call was after the challenge, but it's something to look into. Whether we're on offense or whether we're on defense, did the play after work? And I'm not exactly sure what that is. I haven't watched tape. I've been too busy doing concerts and whatnot. But, what was the play after that challenge? And was that successful, in regards to, the Packers, winning that next play, whatever that was? Is it just a way to possibly take kind of regroup all the guys? You know what I mean? And kind of take a timeout, because it takes forever with the challenges, just to kind of say, hey, this is what we're going to do, and get all the guys rounded up and get them all on the same page. Anyway, it's just a thought that I had, especially in a game in which, the challenge wasn't necessarily necessary. But I'm just rambling now. All right. Merry Christmas, man. Bye.
Well, that's a super interesting thought, because it does make sense. It's kind of like I was talking about before with, if you're about to punt, right, and you don't mind a delay a game penalty, I don't know why you wouldn't run to the line, see if you can get him to jump. Even if there's a 2% chance, so what? It's better than 0 and just punting it away. Take that 2% chance. Similarly, if you're planning on taking a timeout, wouldn't hurt to challenge, right? I mean, there are a limited number of challenges, I suppose, but I would completely understand a situation where, hey, we're about to take a timeout here anyways. What if we just threw the red flag instead, take that 1 to 2% chance that we actually get it, and if not, you're right. I mean, it's a heck of a timeout because it takes X amount of time, so we're basically getting a timeout and using a timeout, so it functions almost identical to a timeout. I don't know. I guess you run the risk of just not having as much time, and you wasted it. But I mean, it's certainly an interesting thought. I wonder if any coaching staffs have contemplated that. Anytime you're thinking about taking a timeout, throw the challenge flag. Like, what are you challenging? Like, I don't know, dude. Spot of the ball. I think he went down a little further back, if I'm being honest. Probably not, but maybe. Who knows?
What's going on, Someone Firefighter? How y'all doing?
What's up?
I was looking online and saw that Joe Barrow gave his offensive linemen all like Japanese katana swords with each their own story. And I thought, like, wow, like, that's cool, but also very unnecessary. I don't even know why they would need that. But hey, that's his gift, Christmas gift, whatever. So I was thinking, what could Jordan Love give to his people? So I was like, okay, so let's hit the top guys. All right, so first off, we got our superstar left guard. Then we got our 2 prime tackles that at least are great in pass blocking. Zach Tom is great in both. So we're going to give them 3, a buffet all you can eat buffet, like gift certificates for a whole year, because they stay eating. They do what they're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? That's how he's going to take care of him. All right. Then we're going to give...
These guys over here are expecting, like, jet skis or a freaking Rolls Royce, and you get Old Country Buffet gift card.
Right guard, a rear view mirror, so he can see that he got Jordan Morgan right behind him. And if he mess up, he gonna lose his starting job. So he got Morgan right behind him.
All right, I get it.
He better be on his P's and Q's. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's gonna give him for Christmas. And then center, you know, we love him so much, he gonna give him a playbook and some readers so he can actually see what the hell he's doing and learn how to block. And a YouTube Red subscription so he can look up videos on how to block people. That's what I think he will give his offensive lineman for Christmas. So just want to say happy holidays, everybody. It's early, so we can get it out the way. Hope everybody has a good holiday. Also hope, I forgot his name, but I told him to make sure he watched all the games so he can break the curse. Hopefully he did that. I didn't get to listen to the podcast to know if he called back and mentioned it, but hopefully he did. Because I told you it was going to be broken. You had to worry about it. But anyway, go Pack, go. I'll call back maybe with some more useful information, but who knows? All right, talk to you later. Bye.
It's not a bad talking point. People call in with ideas for what Jordan could buy some of his teammates as offensive linemen. I like that.
Hey Ryan, this is Trevor, Virginia. Just doing a correction. You said how they've said Edgerrin Cooper is the first Packer that won Defensive Player of the Week, the NFC Defensive Player of the Week, in like over a decade, and that's not actually the stat. Is that he's the first Packers rookie to do it since.
Yeah, I think what I was going for, because the stat that I'm thinking of is doing it twice in a season. I don't know that exact stat. You're probably going to fill us in because I have one in mind, but no, you're about to say it right here.
It's like Clay Matthews is what it is. So we've had plenty of players, NFC Defensive Player of the Week since then. I know Rasul Douglas did it once.
And the other thing is, I was talking about linebackers specifically. So is either the first linebacker to do it, the first player to get it twice in a season. And I thought it was twice in a season since Clay Matthews was the last one to do it. Somebody actually just shared it with me. I'll 1 second. Says, for the second time this year, this is from Packers.com, Packers rookie linebacker Edgerrin Cooper has been named NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Cooper was previously honored in Week 8. He's the first Packers player to win NFC Defensive Player of the Week twice in a season since Clay Matthews. So that one was not necessarily rookie, although he may have been the first linebacker to do it since Clay also. I don't know. I'll have to get some clarification on all this stuff, because I was even when I mentioned it, I was telling you that I didn't know exactly what the stat was, but it had to do with winning it twice is the one that I was thinking of. So that would be this one. Last time since Clay, and it doesn't even say when was Clay's first year. Yeah, 2009. So it would have been his second year that he did that. But again, it may also be for last time a rookie did it was Clay. I mean, Clay is the only other good linebacker we've had in a very long time, and it's a different kind of linebacker. So in my mind, that doesn't even count. When I'm talking about, I'm specifically asking about inside linebacker. I'll have to pull up a list. I'll see if I can find a list of NFC Defensive Players of the Week. The hard part will be finding the list, but once I find it, it won't be too hard to parse through it and get some more stats on that. But yeah, obviously we've had very, very good players. My thing was linebacker specifically, which doesn't even look like that's what this stat is talking about. So I'm getting them all mixed up.
A couple times. But yeah, it wasn't that we've never had Defensive Player of the Week. It was just that he's the first Packer rookie to do it in a long time.
Yeah, I definitely didn't mean to say that.
That was it.
If I did.
He looks phenomenal. And hopefully it continues into year 2. I know a lot of times we have these rookies kind of show flashes and then they can go the other way. So hopefully he continues to build on this, but I think he will. Go back, Joe. Yeah,
and consistency is going to be key. I mean, he's won NFC Defensive Player of the Week twice because when he has a good week, it's shockingly good. The problem is he also has some really bad weeks. So, I think the first step for him as a rookie, because it's understandable as a rookie to have some bad weeks, let's get the floor up a little bit. At least for me, that's what I'm hoping for. Hopefully we still have these elite games. We got to raise the floor a little bit so we're not having games down in like the 40s or whatever his low 20s, whatever it is. Once you got that consistency down, I think we'll be all right. All right, we're actually wrapping up the calls here, so I think we'll just keep on going and finish these up. We got Biggie, Randy, and Snacks. Biggie, Randy, and Snacks. We got to start a rap group or something.
Whoa, Pack Daddy, Bam Lamb. Been a while, man.
What's up,
Good
dude?
to talk to you again. First thing I got to do is establish a verbal contract with you.
Oh, boy.
I hope this is okay, but I steal your stuff all the time. All right? I tell my friends the great insights I have.
That's perfectly fine.
They're your insights, but I take credit for them.
Perfectly fine.
So I don't totally take credit for them. I just don't tell them that it was Ryan Schlicht who told me these things. So, but I do this. This is my side of the case. That's what I'm taking. Here's what I'm giving. I do tell everybody about the Packernet
That's all I ask.
radio broadcast or podcast here, and so hopefully you're gaining listeners.
People are trying to find it on the radio. Like, what radio station did he say it was on? I don't remember. I cannot find it.
And I hope that's an even trade. So that's my agreement with you. Hope you will confirm it. That's all right. Second thing is, I was thinking about how the beginning of the year, or before the year started, I mean, I'm the worst as far as being a homer. I mean, I had them winning every game. This is going to be our Dolphins beater, the season where we go lossless.
Sure. Yeah.
So anyway,
Is that guy's name?
with that in context, I'm thinking now what would make me happier if we had started the season being number one in everything and then dropped at this point in the season down to being in the top 5, all major categories, all important categories. And maybe that's kind of the way to look at things a little bit, right? Is to say, okay, what would you rather have? Having the Packers be your dream team to start with and have nothing at all to bitch about and then be tapering off right about now? Or would you rather have the Packer team that started a little bit slow, but now all of a sudden they're hitting on all 8 cylinders. Everything's looking pretty. I think I'd rather be in that position. How about you? Thanks, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
See,
Let that go.
that's where you're wrong, Biggie, because you're creating a false choice here between two things that I don't have to choose from. I can demand that they be perfect to start as well as be perfect in the middle and at the end. So I want them to be the number one team to start, maintain that through every single week, not no dips, and then also be number one at this point in time. So you tried to trick me there, but you didn't, because that's what I expect forever.
Hi, Ryan. It's Randy from Minnesota.
I guess I should offer a serious response. Of course, you should want your team to excel at this point. Plus, it's just exciting. If you're the number one team all the time, it's going to be great. You're just going to be dominating people. But your team can only let you down. And there's no up. There's no growth. There's no getting better. There's no aspirations. There's none of that stuff. It's just constant anxiety and fear that this thing's going to fall apart at some point.
It's Saturday. I was listening to your podcast, obviously, and you posed the question. You don't know why this team doesn't feel like it's as dominant as it seems to be. I'm wondering, and made me think, maybe as a fan base, we need to learn how to fan differently. And let me explain. Under Favre and Rodgers, it was always the offense, just winging the ball, and just big time stats for the quarterback, big time stats for the receivers. Now that we're turning more into I'd almost say a run first type of team, pounding the rock, it seems different because we're not getting them gaudy stats and we're not getting a touchdown in 3 plays. It's a long drive. And that makes it seem like, oh my goodness, why is it taking us so long to do this? It just made me think that might be the reason why it doesn't seem that this team is dominant as is because we're not used to seeing this kind of team. I'm interested to hear what your thoughts on that might be, and can't wait for the Saints game. God, I'm getting tired of these night games. Makes my work days like hell in the morning, but it is what it is. Go Pack, go. Bye.
No, I agree, and that's essentially my current operating theory right now is that it's because we play differently as opposed to what we're accustomed to. A really good team to Packer fans is our defense sucks, our special teams sucks. We can't run the ball very well, but we can throw it all over the yard with the greatest quarterback and at least one elite wide receiver. That is what a great team looks like. This is weird. This is a lot of running the ball, defense. We throw occasionally and are generally successful when we do. And we score, right? Which is good. We're efficient. Again, I don't know, but I'm. That was my best guess as well. Is that it's just because it looks different and it doesn't feel like what we're used to in 2020 and 2011 and years like that, where you can look at it and go, "This is clearly the best team in football." I don't know that it's as clear, but maybe it should be. I don't know. Maybe it's because we're buying into all the nonsense. Because it's not like we're not blowing teams out, because we are, and we're scoring a ton of points. But it just, even when we do, it's like this past game, and people are upset about this past game because, well, why did we stall out, and why did we? It's like, did you see how many points we scored? Like, why does it not feel like we scored as many points as we did? And we did it against San Francisco, and we did it against Miami. I don't know if in any of these games, really, it felt like a 30-plus point game to me. I don't know why. I don't. It's very weird. Snacks, get us out of here.
Daddy!
What's going on, man?
Christmas time, partner! I'm not calling to give any opinions that really don't mean anything and are pretty much useless because they come from me on football today, my man. Starting the old holiday break and Christmas break, and you know what? I kind of feel like rattling off a Mount Rushmore of my favorite Christmas tunes.
All right, I like that.
So, you're going to have to hear it. And to be honest, I'd love to know what the other Packernet podcast people out there think as well of theirs. Where's Nico at, and Jersey Mike, and Trucker Bob? Is Trucker Bob still around? Hey, Ron? You, Daddy, everybody else? Chris from Alabama, come on, let's get into the mood.
I like it.
Sorry, man, I'm just feeling festive. So I'm going to give you my Mount Rushmore, just in case anybody cares. But the first one, Andy Williams, Happy Holidays. Absolutely exquisite tune. Exquisite. Second one would have to be Hey Santa Claus by the Moonglows. If you ever seen Christmas Vacation, you know what I'm talking about with that one. Just an absolute treat.
Here is that song, by the way.
Hey Santa Claus, hey Santa Claus, hey Santa.
Continue.
The third, man, this is a tough one, but I mean, it's got to be Sinatra doing the Jingle Bells, right? Where he's like, I like those Jingle bells. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But the best one, and I'm sure not many of you know this one, but if you ever watch Bob's Burgers, which isn't the most amazing program, but there's a song that Kevin Kline put together called The Spirits of Christmas. And if you all like bourbon as much as I do, you put that tune on right before you go to bed and you enjoy yourselves. So that's it. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to all. I know we got a couple days, but I'm in the mood and I felt like spreading some goodness. So the best to you all. Let's finish out the damn season with some W's. Later.
Here's that song.
Well, the last present's delivered, and the snow outside's getting thicker. So let's open that bottle of liquor. Hey, Bourbon, take me home.
So for me, and I don't really know why, I like the slower Christmas songs. So I'm all about Nat King Cole. I mean, just across the board, I'm all about Nat King Cole, but it's hard to beat Nat King Cole Christmas. So you got stuff like this.
Jack Frost nipping at your nose.
I don't know. I don't have an official top. I'll have to work on the top 5, but that kind of stuff is going to be in it. It's hard to beat Bing Crosby, White Christmas. Good stuff. But I think, like, if I had to pick my top 3, regardless of artist, forget the artist for a second. There's one song, I've mentioned this before. We've done a lot of Christmases or whatever. One of them, my grandma told me it was her favorite Christmas song. And I'm like, I've never heard of that song in my life. It's a German song. It is one of the most Christmassy Christmas songs ever that nobody's ever heard of. The song is Still, 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 which means quiet, 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 or calm, calm, calm in English. I'm not sure. Well, the robot's not sure which. I don't really know. But why don't we do this? I'm going to give you my 3 favorite Christmas songs, and this is just going to be the music on the way out. So I'll let it's hard to find a good Steel, Steel, Steel song. I'm going to let the Tabernacle Choir handle this one. And then we'll move on to number 2, and then number 1. Stick around if you want. Otherwise, you guys have a great rest of your night. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.